Alright, we are looking at evaluating limits analytically. We're in this section 3 here, and it looks like we're going to be taking the limit as x approaches 7 of x cubed minus 343 over 7 minus x. So what we've got here is if you plug 7 in the numerator and the denominator, we're going to end up with 0 over 0. So if we get 0 over 0, we're going to want to factor this problem. So let's just do that. So we have the limit as x approaches 7 of x cubed minus, now instead of writing 343 here, I'm going to go ahead and write 7 cubed over 7 minus x. Now I want to get this thing in more of a standard form, and that is I'm going to need to rewrite this numerator, or the denominator here. I want to get the x here and the 7 over here. So what we're going to end up having to do is factor out a negative. We're going to factor out a -1. Let me just put that in a different color here. And so what we're going to end up with, this becomes negative, and then this will become positive. And you can always check this work by taking the -1 and distributing it across. So -1 times 7, you're just going to get back the 7, and of course -1 times x, you're going to get back the -x. So this kind of really helps out here if we go ahead and factor this negative out and get it more into a standard form that we're all familiar with. So let me go ahead and write this. Now of course we want to write an equal sign here because this limit is still equal to the one we're going to rewrite. Now you can take this negative, actually it's something I probably should have already done. Take the negative and bring it out in front of the limit, and I'm going to go ahead and do that. And so this says -1 times the limit here. So we rewrite x cubed minus 7 cubed, and I'm going to go ahead and write this as x minus 7. Okay, just kind of reorder these terms here, and now it's more into more of a standard form that we're familiar with. Now what you're going to need to do is be able to factor this numerator, and rewriting the negative here, the -1, we've got the limit as x approaches 7. So when we go ahead and factor this, this becomes x minus 7 times this x, this term here just gets squared, and then of course because this is a minus, we're going to write a plus, and then we just carry that 7 out in front, the coefficient of x, and this is always a plus here, and then we square that 7, and that becomes 49. And this is all over, of course, our x minus 7. Now we've gotten it to the point where we can cancel out some like factors, so we cancel those guys out, and now we can go ahead and do the direct substitution. So we end up having the -1 times, and then we go ahead and do the direct substitution. We have 7 squared plus 7 times 7, and then plus 49. Alright, and I'm going to rewrite this up here. This is, so there's let's see, 49 times 3, so we end up with a negative. We're going to have a negative number here, 3 times 49. So whatever the heck that is, let me put a parentheses around that. Well, I went over here and went back to the screen since we're running out of time. Went ahead and hit the answer, but if we multiplied that together, we'd end up getting the -147. And of course, you could always just hit the help button here and just kind of get a quick overview of what's going on in this problem. And I try to do somewhat of a job here to explain how we get the final answer. Alright, well, I hope that helps you out, and keep a clicking.